Hi, I'm Troy, along with my partners Danny and John. We're coming at you with the TDJ show. The number is 617-241-1244. And we're going to start by talking about the first big deal of the trade deadline. It's Aroldis Chapman going from the Yankees to the Cubs. Danny, what's your thoughts?
I think it's a great trade for the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees have not only given away one of those accessories, as I say, a relief pitcher on a team that is not contending, a team that is over 4 games out of the division, a team that needs to rebuild and get younger in times where all of the players are just a little too old. I think getting Bill McKinney, it was a great signing because he's a great outfielder, and I think also Gleyber Torres is a great shortstop prospect to go along with Jorge Mateo. Now we have a little more depth in our farm system. I think it's a good move.
John?
Well, first of all, of course, the Yankees and the Cubs, the first team to break the ice so far trade-wise. And I agree with what Blumster said. It is a good move. It benefits both teams. The Cubs, who have been lacking that big closer that they need to just shut down games, they now have him in Aroldis Chapman. Yankees, well, they know that they have to get young. For the last 20 years, they've been led by veterans, home run hitters, sluggers. Now it's time to bring in a new farm system and get young again, and that's what they did with this trade, bringing in those top prospects from Chicago, a team that is young, that has a great farm system. So I think this benefits both sides, but of course for Chicago, they're basically saying with Theo Epstein, let's win now, because you just lost some of your future. It's always tough losing prospects, but if you're basically destined to win this season, then I think you do what you've got to do. And it's just a great trade for both sides.
We're going to go to the phones now. It's Ryan from Dallas.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Love the show. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I just want to know who got the best out of the Cubs-Yankees trade with Chapman?
Danny?
I think, good question, Ryan. Everyone's been raving about this trade. We want to know we don't know what these prospects are going to become. However, I think both teams won. I think it was a win-win situation. The Cubs got what they needed. With Hector Rondon and Aroldis Chapman, they've got a good bullpen to support an excellent rotation and an excellent offense. I think the Yankees did very much need to get younger, and Bill McKinney, although he had a sub 700 OPS this year in the minor leagues with Double-A in Tennessee, I think he's going to bounce back. He's a very solid player, and I think he's been a highly valued prospect for years now. And Gleyber Torres was ranked 37 or something of all prospects, and he was the number 1 Cubs prospect, so I think this is a very good get for the Yankees.
Well, first of all, I know Brian Cashman does want to get young, but let's think about it like this. Yankees are only 4.5 games out of the wild card scenario, and it's just over the midway point. I think that New York possibly can make a run, but not without that strong bullpen that has actually been keeping them into this wild card scenario. You have Miller and Betances, arguably the two of the top 5 relievers in the American League, and you had Chapman. Now he's with Chicago. So I think if they kept Chapman and they just tried to make a playoff run this year, then things would be different. But of course, Theo Epstein, who when he was with Boston, he brought a lot of young talent in. Now he's actually doing the opposite, and he's letting the young talent go with Chicago in order to bring a championship to the city that hasn't seen it since 1908. So I would say the winner is the New York Yankees. The loser, the Chicago Cubs. You lost young talent. That is a big blow. If you do not win this season, then your whole fan base will probably be looking back to that deal.
I guess we'll have to tell what happens in this 2016 season. If the Cubs win, they look like Theo Epstein looks like a genius. If not, they lost a lot of young talent.
Okay, thanks for listening. That'll do it for the JDT show. Good night.